Hello everyone, I'm Kevin Nelson, and here's a look at what's going on this week in the news, and we begin with news from the Vatican. Addressing the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, the FAO, conference on June 20th, Pope Francis said that it is scandalous that the global level of food production is enough to feed the planet's people, yet millions of people are malnourished. He said the global financial crisis obviously has made the situation worse, but it cannot continue to be used as an alibi. He told 400 delegates from about 200 countries that the current crisis was also a consequence of a crisis of convictions and values. He called food a human necessity and a right that is unfortunately treated as a commodity, which leads to the uprooting of individuals, families, and entire communities. In news from around the country, the Pain-Capable Unborn Protection Act was passed in a 228 to 196 vote by the U.S. House June 18th. The act prohibits abortion nationwide after 20 weeks of gestation, approximately the stage at which scientists say unborn babies are capable of feeling pain. Representative Chris Smith from New Jersey is a co-sponsor on the bill and co-chair of the Congressional Pro-Life Caucus. He said that according to the Americans United for Life Legal Defense Fund, the United States is one among only 4 nations in the world that allows abortions for any reason after viability, and is currently one of only 9 nations that allows abortion after 14 weeks of gestation. Looking now at news from Italy, World Refugee Day took place this past week. Rome Reports spoke with the president of Centro Astalia Refugee Center in Italy about the crisis facing immigrants and refugees today.
June 20th marks World Refugee Day. The goal behind it is to raise awareness about all the challenges refugees face when they leave their home country. Worldwide, it's estimated that almost 100 million people have fled their homes.
From finding a place to sleep, somewhere to eat, and a place to live with dignity. Even when they're processing or requesting political asylum, the challenge isn't over. It continues after that.
Father Giovanni Lamana is the president of Centro Astali in Italy, which is one of the most important refugee centers in the country. He says the issue of immigration and refugees is a universal one that's often manipulated by politicians. Despite it being a hot-button issue, he says something must be done.
In the Italian island of Lampedusa, fishermen refer to an area as a cemetery. When they throw their nets out on the sea, sometimes they find human remains.
During a panel discussion, he said he finds it ironic that a pair of glasses or merchandise can be easily shipped from one country to another. But when it comes to the issue of people, it becomes something extremely complicated.
People need to understand who these refugees are. Who are these immigrants? At a political level, we need to keep those in charge accountable. The dignity and rights of refugees must be respected.
To raise awareness, the Jesuit Refugee Service has organized an event in Rome's Chiesa Gesù. There, on the facade of the parish, a digital projection of the refugee experience will be shown at night until June 21st.
And in more news from Italy, despite the fact that the process is supposed to be secret, Italian news agency ANSA and many Italian papers are reporting that Blessed John Paul II is one step closer to canonization. They are reporting that Vatican sources confirm that the Congregation for Saints' Causes affirmed that the description of prayers and events surrounding an alleged miracle involving a Latin American woman just hours after Blessed John Paul was beatified provides evidence that the healing was accomplished through the intercession of the late Pope. However, the congregation still must vote on whether to recommend that the Pope recognize the healing as a miracle. The papal decree is needed before a canonization date can be set. In news from around the country, New York Cardinal Timothy Dolan has admitted that the bishops are somewhat nervous about the impending deadline for the HHS mandate. During his weekly radio show, Conversation with Cardinal Dolan, that aired June 18th on the Catholic Channel, Dolan said he's hoping wise voices will prevail before the new rules for the contraceptive mandate take effect August 1st. The Cardinal President of the USCCB said that the bishops wonder how the federal government will respond to the more than 300,000 comments it received following the February 1st release of the new proposed rules. He also pointed out that no clear regulations have been released yet. The mandate, part of the Affordable Care Act, will require most employers, including religious employers, to provide coverage of contraceptives, sterilization, and some abortion-inducing drugs free of charge, even if the employer is morally opposed to such services. And finally in the news, June 27th marks 50 years since President John F. Kennedy's historic visit to Ireland. Kennedy, the first Catholic to become U.S. president, visited Duncanstown in County Wexford in 1963. A commemorative ceremony honoring the president's Irish heritage was held at Arlington National Cemetery on June 18th, and fire from Kennedy's gravesite's Eternal Flame was used to light a torch that was being transported to the Quayside Kennedy Monument in the town of New Ross in Wexford. The torch was also to be used to light a flame in memory of all Irish immigrants. The flame will be transported using Olympic technology and be delivered by an escort detail from the Irish Naval Service. Well, that is all the information we have for you at this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV network.